So just while we're getting settled in, I'm going to go off script a bit today, and I want to congratulate the newest member to the FCM, Michael Smith. Great job, sir. And, few words?
Thank you, Warden. I'd just like to thank this House for the opportunity to represent you on FCM, and a special thanks to James Leduc and Jen Coughlin for all their help campaigning down there. It was amazing, and one other councillor who may have snuck down from Penetang just to vote, so I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So I'll first turn for calling of the roll.
Your Worship, all members are present with the exception of Councillor Lavoie. In attendance today for Councillor McDonald is Councillor Henry Sander. Councillor Sandu sends regrets. Councillor Brian Smith is absent, and in attendance is Councillor Joe Belanger.
Thank you. So is there anybody that needs to leave early before the meeting's over today? We do have a good full day. Hopefully you can at least stay for the council meeting. Not seeing any hands. So I'll look for the approval of the agenda. Councillor Dolan.
Thank you, Your Worship. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Cox that the agenda for the June 13th, 2023 meeting of Council be approved.
Everybody's heard the motion. Any questions on the agenda? All in favor? That is carried. Do I have a disclosure of pecuniary interest by any member of Council? Not seeing any presentations and deputations. We have none. So the consent agenda, Councillor Burkett. Sorry, Mike.
Good morning, Your Worship. Through you, moved by myself, second by Councillor Norcross, that the Council communications and proclamations May 23rd, 2023 to June 8th, 2023 have been given due consideration be received.
On that motion, any questions or comments? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. The adoption of the council minutes, Deputy Warden Coughlin.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Laux that the following council minutes be confirmed and adopted. Committee of the Whole reports be confirmed. County Council minutes, May 23rd, 2023. Committee of the Whole report, May 23rd, 2023. Committee of the Whole confidential report, May 23rd, 2023. Planning workshop, special council minutes, May 23rd, 2023. Planning workshop, special council confidential minutes, May 23rd, 2023.
Okay, lots went on there. Any questions on any of those? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. So we're on to our committee reports. So I'll start on Chairman Cox, if you would like to go ahead with performance management.
Good morning, everyone. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Evans that the performance management recommendations contained within the Committee of the Whole report dated May 23rd, 2023 be approved.
On those minutes, any items to be pulled? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Next, Chairman Leduc.
Thank you, Warden. And through you, moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Henry Saunders, that the Human Services recommendation contained within the Committee of Whole report dated May 23rd, 2023 be approved.
Any items to be pulled? All in favor of the motion? That is carried. Thank you. And Chair Dolan.
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Measures that the corporate services recommendations contained within the Committee of the Whole report dated May 23rd, 2023 be approved, including the confidential item.
Any questions on that report? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. And presentations and considerations of special committee reports, we have none. And presentation considering Municipal Services Board, the Lake Simcoe Regional Airport. So on the minutes, that the minutes of the Lake Simcoe Regional Airport Board dated May 30th, 2023 be received. Moved by Councillor Fowler, second by Councillor Bell. Any questions on the airport minutes? All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. We have no officers report today. Notices of which notices haven't been given, we have none, and I don't recall getting any notices of motion. None coming from the floor. Closed session, none. So we're up to the consideration of the bills. Councillor Norcross.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you, of course. Moved by myself, second by Councillor Burkett, that Bill number 7015-23 be enacted as a bylaw of the County of Simcoe.
Everybody's heard the motion. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Okay, where am I up to here? Oh, announcements. Any announcements here? Of course, we have our strategic planning session coming immediately following Committee of the Whole, and that will be downstairs in the conference room. And I've asked Councillor Deputy Warden Coughlin if she'll chair that, and she accepted, so thank you. Any other announcements? Councillor Dolan.
Thank you. The Week of Welcome is this week, and Innisfil held the inaugural event last evening at the Innisfil Idea Lab and Library, and it was really well done, so thank you to the county and town staff for that. It was quite an eye-opener. We had a panel of newcomer entrepreneurs who talked about the challenges they had as far as, culture change when moving here, boundaries with different languages, learning the language, learning the market research, and starting the company. It was really occurred to me just how brave it is not only to move to a new country, but to then open up a business as well. So it was a great event, and I think it gave a lot of us insight on what we can do more to promote and support small entrepreneurs. Thank you.
On that note, we had a new citizenship ceremony here Saturday, and I know Councillor McKellen was there with me. We had 38 new Canadians. What a wonderful ceremony to see these folks and listen to some of their stories and on their journey here. Some have been living in Canada. I think one gentleman was 30-some years he's been here when he finally got through the paperwork, and very proud to say that he now has a home. So it was a wonderful ceremony, and it went off great. Any other announcements? Okay, I'm not seeing any, so I'll look for the confirmatory bylaw. Councillor Norcross.
Thanks, Your Worship. Through you, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Greenlaw, that Bill number 7016-23 be enacted as a bylaw of the County of Simcoe.
Okay, on that bylaw, questions? I can't imagine. All in favor? That is carried. And now I'll look for a motion to adjourn. I'll go with alternate Councillor Sander, alternate Councillor Belanger as a seconder. All in favor? That is carried. Now you can prove you were here, gentlemen. So, do you want me just to roll right into the Committee of the Whole? Why don't we just roll right into the Committee of the Whole, folks, and we'll carry on if everybody's set. Yeah.
That airport board meeting was like 10 minutes.
Okay, I think we have everybody here. So, Mr. Clerk, if you could do an attendance.
Your Worship, in addition to County Council, we have absence Aurelia Councillor Durnford, Aurelia Councillor Fallis, Barrie Councillor Hamilton. In attendance, we have Aurelia Mayor McIsaac, Barrie Councillor Nguisi. In absence, Barrie Mayor Nuttall. And in attendance, Barrie Councillor Riepma.
Thank you, sir. I'll call on Councillor Dolan if you would approve the agenda.
Thank you. Moved by myself and seconded by Deputy Warden Coughlin that the agenda for June 13th, 2023 meeting of Committee of the Whole be approved.
Questions on the agenda? All in favor? That is carried. Is there a disclosure of pecuniary interest by any member of council? Not seeing any. So we have a presentation today. I know we have Kevin Weaver here, President and CEO of Georgian College, to give us an opportunity to present and possibly an ask. Come on down, Kevin. Whenever you're ready, Kevin.
Okay. Okay, Ane Sego Tanche, good morning. Thank you for having us today. Thank you, Warden Clark, members of County of Simcoe Council for the opportunity to be here today. Please accept my profound gratitude on behalf of Georgian and our students for the county's continued friendship, support, and investment in the college. I'm pleased to be here to provide a Georgian update, including the significant return on investment that continues to this day from the collaboration between our institutions. Convocation is this month, and we'll welcome thousands more to the alumni community. The achievements of our students and grads is something we can all be proud of. County investments have significantly supported their learning and continued success. And more than half of our grads live, work, and play here in Central Ontario, contributing to our region's highly skilled workforce as community leaders and compassionate citizens. We continue to listen and respond to the evolving needs of industry and community, launching new programs and modifying current programs to meet those needs. Our Honors Bachelor of Science Nursing, launched in September at our Barrie and Owensound campuses, is a primary example of this. We listened to our healthcare partners who were concerned about shortages, and we acted. And as the county knows very well, bringing all 4 years of a nursing degree fulfills our promise we made when we opened the Sadlin Center for Health, Wellness, and Sciences, which the county generously supported. Students' needs and preferences have changed throughout and following the pandemic. We've shifted to accommodate and have many learners who want flexible program delivery options, including fully online and hybrid, while still providing on-campus learning, supports, and experiences. At an average age of 23 years old, our students are the future of Simcoe County. We are proud to be part of the county's It Starts campaign again this year as a community champion. The campaign aligns with our commitments to fostering stronger, more inclusive campus communities and our work in the areas of internationalization, truth and reconciliation, and equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. Change-making has always been part of the DNA of the college. As an example, we and our students have signed the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals Accord to hold us accountable. Thanks to the support of many Simcoe County employers, we continue to be a recognized leader in student work experience and exceed the provincial average for graduate employment rates. Like our relationship with the county, we're fortunate to have strong collaborations with industry, including multifaceted long-term partnerships with Magna, Honda, Electra, and Innovative Automation. Working collaboratively with our Indigenous leaders and colleagues, we've become a leader in Indigenous education and immersive learning. Recently, we received a Gold Award in the category of Indigenous education at the 2023 World Federation of Colleges and Polytechnics Awards of Excellence ceremony, and that's for our efforts to preserve the Indigenous language of the Anishinaabe-Moan language using immersive learning to help our students with that language development. The Peter B. Moore Advanced Technology Center, which the county was a cornerstone investor in, continues to be a hub of activity. Faculty and students work with local businesses on everything from product design to prototyping, market research, analysis, testing, and e-business solutions. In 2021-22 alone, almost 100 partners worked with close to 400 students on projects. This truly is a win-win. Local employers get the research and development support they so desperately need, and our students get exceptional hands-on learning experience. The Henry Bernick Entrepreneurship Center is Georgian's regional business incubator, assisting entrepreneurs to take their business or idea to the next level. The center is currently serving 570 active clients. Our clients have received $20 million in investments, seen $19 million in revenue generated, and since 2016 have created more than 2,000 jobs. I share this with you today to illustrate just how much Georgian and the county are united in our shared priorities to help businesses thrive and grow. As a college, we continue to make a huge impact on the economy as well. Based on analysis of the fiscal year 2019-20 by MC, Georgian's total annual impact in our catchment area is $1.7 billion, equivalent to almost 23,000 jobs. And we know our impact will only expand. We feel that's important as our role as your regional college to prepare students for the jobs of the future and support the communities we serve. Georgian and the county have a proud history of strong collaboration that has yielded great success, benefiting students, alumni, employers, and communities. County investments in Georgian and our students supported the construction of cutting-edge learning environments like our Sadlin Center for Health, Wellness, and Sciences, our Peter B. Moore Advanced Technology Center, and our John DePoche South Georgian Bay campus. More recently, we collaborated to strengthen the early childhood education workforce. I'd like to focus the remainder of my deputation on Georgian's efforts to address the trade shortage in Simcoe County. We know an investment in the trades is key to economic recovery and future growth. In times of peak workforce shortage, it's important that we balance the plan and the needs now as well as the needs of the future. Georgian is dialed into the community. All our academic programs, just-in-time training, and micro-credentials are responsive to the changing workforce, just as globalization, technology, and economic disruption continue to shape the future. With more than 130 different programs and nearly 40 of those programs feeding the skilled trade sector, we rely on the insights and expertise of industry advisors to keep us ahead of the curve. Georgian is committed to helping sustain the skilled trades workforce in this region now and into the future. We need larger, more modernized facilities to deliver the best possible learning experiences so Georgian graduates can play a vital role in the resurgence and growth of our economy. This is why Georgian will commence a significant renovation and expansion project later this year to revitalize and modernize our Skilled Trades Center at the Barrie campus. Our current home for skilled trades was constructed in 1977 with an expansion in the 1980s and is approximately 40,000 square feet. We will add a minimum of 20,000 square feet in purpose-designed space. The project in its current planning stage represents more than $15.3 million in investment. For me, it represents smart growth. We're renovating and maximizing space and will improve the energy efficiency and accessibility along the way. We'll update and expand our lab spaces for a range of programs, including heating, refrigeration, and air conditioning, carpentry and renovation techniques, cabinet making, gas technician, mechanical techniques, precision skills, and all related apprenticeship programs. We'll create a 2 to 3 story addition and connecting bridge to our Center for Sustainable Technologies, and we'll welcome programs, refreshed programs, and related programs like jewelry design, bench skills and business, art and design, and others. We'll expand our machine shop that sustains the hands-on learning across a number of our diploma and apprenticeship programs, including our new mechatronics program. Ultimately, this project will transform the student, employee, and industry experience inside the building and significantly increase Georgian's ability to infuse new innovation and growth into our program offerings. We'll also deepen collaborations with industry and the county to proactively amplify the value of skilled trades education and careers and support diversity in the skilled trades. Our goal is to have the newly renovated center ready no later than September 1st, 2025. I am here today to bring a request to Council to seek a one-time $1.5 million strategic investment in the future of skilled trades for the region. Together with your support, strategic donations from industry, and a large institutional investment, we can combine forces to once again tackle a complex issue for the betterment of the whole county, now and well into the future. This next chapter of growth at the Barrie campus will represent a new and critical pillar to the county and Georgian's long-standing partnership, deeply rooted in our shared focus on helping our region and businesses thrive and grow. An investment in education and training is an investment that bolsters the return and effectiveness of other infrastructure spending across the entire county that depend on that skilled labor force. This morning, I focused on skilled trades, but our work continues across a variety of sectors. As we carve out our vision to 2030, we will focus on future workforce development needs in the hospitality, agribusiness, food sustainability, tourism, and recreation sectors, as well as the ever-evolving healthcare sector. We have ambitious plans, and I will be back in the future to share further partnership opportunities. On behalf of the entire Georgian community, I want to thank you personally for your confidence in our mission forward and the continued strength and investment in our shared partnership. I want to thank Council for receiving this update and our investment requests this morning. Happy to take any questions. Chief Miigwech, thank you.
Do I have any questions? Okay, I'll start with Councillor Gordon.
Thank you very much for your presentation. This is very timely, as just this past Friday I had the honor of visiting Associate Dean Phil Adams, who's your Midland campus rep with the skilled trades, and I had my first ever tour inside of that facility. Oddly enough, having lived there all these years, I never had occasion to go in and see the amazing work that Georgian does with skilled trades in North Simcoe, you know, as a campus approach. Absolutely. One of the key takeaways from that conversation I had with him was the acute lack of housing for students. They're, you know, they could triple or quadruple their offerings in that campus, but there's just simply no place to live. I own some of that because those are issues that our municipality actually has the ability to impact to some degree. But what I was, I guess, what I found missing from this, and this was something I committed to asking today, was what about fundraising or an initiative to try and get student housing, which I understand that colleges are typically trying to divest themselves from owning and managing, into smaller campuses that are already working really hard to attract and tool up the skilled trades. For example, North Simcoe. I'm not lobbying for Midland specifically in this case, but I've been trying to think creatively about joint ventures between affordable housing initiatives that the county is working so hard to do, and clearly the province has faith in us because they're lavishing us with some extra funds. But perhaps there's an opportunity, and I haven't talked to you about this yet, Mean, I'm sorry, about looking at joint ventures for an affordable housing / student residence type joint venture between the county that it's not in what you're asking for right now because you're looking to expand your services. But I'm just wondering, is this something that's being talked about, or is this just something that the Associate Dean and I were dreaming up on a Friday afternoon?
Through you, Warden. Yeah, it's a great question. Housing is definitely an active conversation across our 7 campus communities. As we know, affordable, attainable housing is a challenge in all our communities, and absolutely that hits the students as well. So we are having those conversations. We will be going out shortly to seek some support to do a more thorough housing review and look at what potential options might be, and that could very well be one of those options. But we know student housing is a challenge, and any major future growth, we need to assess that. The one thing we do know with some of these programs, particularly skilled trades, is a lot of the training that happens, we do both post-secondary education, which will attract students from outside the catchment, as well as with inside the catchment, but also a lot of apprenticeship training. We train about 1,500 apprentices a year, and the one thing with apprentices, generally speaking, they're usually within the geographic region, so that does ease a little bit of the housing burden, but it's an active conversation and one we're going to have to continue on. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Barry, Councillor Rietmud, I think I saw your hand.
Thank you, Warden, and to Mr. Weaver. I'm just going to pick up exactly what the previous question was, because you're looking at expanding in Barrie, and in Barrie we have exactly the same problem with just a lack of student housing. So I'm just wondering if there is a possibility to somehow expand your student housing at the same time as you're doing this expansion to your programs. I mean, we're all very delighted with Georgian College, obviously, doing a great job for the students and for our industries. But I think the students are really feeling the pressure in terms of no place to live.
Right. Yeah, through you, Warden. Thank you for the question and comment. And absolutely, that's that's an important part of what we're looking at is housing along the way. As I mentioned, we'll open in 2025. That's the plan, to open this expansion and addition. Any growth in student enrollment numbers, of course, will be strategic and thoughtful about which programs, also where those students are coming from, and also the housing situation. So it is active. We have no. We don't have a solution or an imminent plan that I'm here to announce today, but we're certainly going to look at it. This is a conversation across Canada. There's 135 colleges and institutes. We were in Montreal this May, and this is a very active conversation. So we need to look at it strategically and figure out the best way forward for this. I will say we were fortunate to have somebody look at housing supply and demand for our students, and with the flexibility I mentioned, the hybrid and online, we're actually seeing far less students in our communities, but also on our campuses. And I'll just give you an example. I mean, our food services and parking are down about 50% because we've tried to provide our students with some flexibility that gives them more options to where they live, and then they come to school. In some cases, students may study online completely. In other cases, they may come for 2, 4, 6 hours a week, which is very different than the pre-pandemic environment where students were on campus 18 to 20 hours a week. So that's also part of the picture, but we're certainly going to do a deep dive. And as you know, Councillor Rietma, we will work closely with City of Barrie on that housing study.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Cox.
Yeah, not to beleaguer the housing. I talked to someone about housing, and they were telling me that Georgian actually has a program where you do, so I don't know what the real word of it is, but they share homes.
Yes.
And that is wonderful for a lot of the international students because they like the communal living. Yeah. And I know that you have some really innovative ideas, and those are the type of programs I think in some of the satellite ones that would work very well. They team them up with seniors and each one can help each other, and I just wanted to commend you on that.
Thank
and
you.
I also wanted to commend you on your all your programs for the apprenticeship. I think it's wonderful. Thank you.
Through you, Warden. Thank you for those comments. And yeah, the program is called Spaces Shared, and it allows adults who may be living on their own, or it could be a couple that have 2 or 3 bedrooms, and they can apply to be on a portal and get matched up with a student. And students can actually decrease their monthly rent by doing things around the house. So if they cut the lawn, shovel snow, help with groceries, the individuals will reduce the rent. It's a great partnership. It's also about social skills and companionship for individuals who may be living alone. So thank you for that. And I will say we're also being very proactive. We're going to be launching this fall a neighborhood ambassador program where we're going to look to our students who have been in the community at least for a semester, ideally a year. And they'll also be ambassadors to help our students who are newer to the community to understand things around rent and their responsibilities when they're renting a house with, garbage collection and how that all works. We know students from other countries. Mayor Dolan mentioned earlier about entrepreneurs. Many of our students do come from other countries, and garbage collection and recycling, those aren't things they're used to. So that's all new, that somebody would actually come around to your driveway and collect those items. So to help them understand that, to help them get it out on the right day and make sure we're being good neighbors, those are all things we're trying to do proactively because we do take that responsibility seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Fowler.
Thank you, Warden. My ears perked up when you talked about the expansion of the trades program. I myself am a Red Seal tradesman. I'm curious, with the expansion of the programs, are you looking at a generic expansion, or are you going to be focusing more on the Red Seal programs that, for infrastructure that are highly in demand at this moment in time? Is there a specific breakdown that you're going through in regards to moving forward?
Yeah, through you, Warden. Great question. So this expansion is focused on the areas of a variety of program areas, including machining, which is tool and die, mold maker. We know those are in very high demand, so it's diploma and apprenticeship. Our carpentry and renovation, which also includes carpentry, construction apprenticeship, cabinet making, which we do have some cabinet makers that go on and do complete Red Seal training, as well as gas technician and HVAC. Those are really the focuses for this expansion. We do have other programs, apprenticeship program at the Owen Sound campus and the Midland campus, and we have expanded both of those for apprenticeship training. If the ministry tells us they have enough apprentices and asks us to put on more training, we've been very happy and proud to accommodate that because we do know the significance of that.
Supplementary? Carry on.
A quick question as well. Are you recruiting from the trade unions? Are you reaching out to them? Because I know that there's a significant demand with a lot of the trade unions with the retirement curve that's hitting at this moment in time. This would be an ideal situation where it's a win-win because the unions would take care of the costing of the courses for the students as well as provide. So I'm just wondering, do you have any relations with locally?
We do. Through you, Warden, yes, we do. We're working very closely with the unions. Some, depending on the trade, some unions are doing some of their own training, but in a lot of cases we do partner with them, and those individuals come to us, and their training costs are covered for the apprentice, which is wonderful. Yeah, thank you.
Councillor Evans.
Thank you, Warden. And through you to Kevin. Kevin, thank you so much for the presentation. Appreciate it very much. Strong supporter. I can't believe you've been in that building since 1980. That's incredible given the growth of skilled trades and the need and demand for that. So I'm certainly in favor of the infrastructure investment there. My question has to do actually with a different form of infrastructure, transit. I have heard a number of comments, not so much in Tiny, but in other parts of the township where in the county where there's been some strains on our transit system and your students moving back and forth between campuses and such. As you expand, can maybe pass some comments along in terms of needs or desires for your students moving forward? I know it's important for them to be able to move between campuses, and that's something you want to promote. You want to meet a lot of people and get them all integrated. Any comments on transit now and moving forward that we should keep into consideration? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, through you, Warden. Yeah, it's a great comment. We really appreciate the transit that the County of Simcoe has put in place, and you're absolutely right. Our students are using the Lynx Transit. I don't have the ridership numbers, but I will tell you at about 7:45, just outside my office window, I see the lineup to board that bus. So I will tell you the bus going north is quite full in the morning, and I suspect the same. But that transit is so important for not only our students to come and study, but also to go out into co-ops and work placements. Mobility often is the factor that limits them from going to employers right here in the County of Simcoe. And if mobility is a challenge, there's always a risk that we lose those students to other employers in other regions. And so absolutely, I'm an advocate for public transit. We're hearing that from our Orillia campus to the Barrie campus, from Lakehead Orillia to the Barrie Georgian campus. In our partnership, some of our students do 2 years in Barrie, and they shift and do the final 2 years at Lakehead and Orillia, and some of them find a nice place to live. So they're relying on that transit. And then we talked about the Midland campus, and transit helps with all of that. If we can move students, we can also move them on their co-op and placement terms, and we can also move them as recent grads, because I will also say mobility is a challenge for recent grads too. If they don't have a vehicle, then they're going to look for a place to work that is easily accessible through public transit.
Great, thank you very much. Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Warden.
Any other questions or comments at this time? It was great to see the auto show back after such a hiatus. I hope you had a great weekend and a good turnout.
It was a wonderful show, and thank you for coming to the opening. We really appreciate it. Yeah, wonderful turnout.
Good. So staff is currently working on a report to do with post-secondary education funding. So that report will be coming to council in the coming weeks. So if there's no further questions, thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, we'll now move on to performance management of Chair Cox.
CCW 2023-121. I think we have a presentation today from Kelly Swift-Jones, the museum curator, and I will leave the motion till after the presentation. Thank you very much, Kelly.
I'm back. Just had that other time. No, what happened? Well, it was when I first opened it, I started entering the code, but then I had to do my script, so it was a half a code entered, and I didn't like that. So I should be good now. Okay, now I'm on the wrong agenda.
Good morning, Council. Chair Cox, thank you, Your Worship. We'd like to run through a presentation briefly, a PowerPoint. We will end with a video to give you a little bit more familiarization with the museum project that we're asking you to consider. You may or may not know myself. I'm Alan Greenwood, the Director of Public Affairs. Kelly Swift-Jones, the museum curator. Don Hipwell, the Director for Procurement, Fleet and Property. And I'd also like to acknowledge that we have some of our team with us at the back. We have our architects from Moriyama and Toshima, Ronan Bauer, partner, and Andrea Jansen, associate, and Jordan Hugendam, who's the senior engineer and president of Zahn Engineering. So we're pleased to share some details with you this morning and then answer questions about the museum expansion. And it really is what we believe is one of the most important cultural assets that visitors and residents can access in this entire region. The museum is really our collective past. It's a culturally significant component for the county and for its residents. It represents historically our pioneering way of life and early transportation. It represents early industry that forged an economic future for the region. It represents our agrarian roots and reinforces the importance of agriculture today. And it really represents every single municipality, all 16 of our municipalities in the region, as well as the separated cities, but represents the entire region. And as our report outlines, we've identified 3 phases for construction, and we're seeking your agreement approval for moving forward with the first phase for construction. We've been very cognizant of financials as we've worked through details, operational costs, costs to expand, revenues, even the fees that guests and visitors pay when they're coming to the museum. But we're excited as well to map out the new opportunities that we have identified for revenue. These are, I think, very highly promising. They include things such as a cafe, a beer garden, that we would feature local craft breweries, and specialized grounds rentals. So I'll ask Kelly to run through our presentation briefly, and then we'll end, as I indicated, with a quick video. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Good morning, everyone. It wouldn't be the museum if we didn't start with a story. So as you can see here, the picture with Charles Matthews here, the picture on the left is one of the portraits that we were able to receive. The picture on the right is him moving actually along with his brother and staff our 1922 Cedar View cottage from the shores of Innisfil. So Charles Matthews was a fairly unassuming man. Met him a few times over the course of my time at the museum. He always came to our Wheels and Tracks Last Blast shows. Very unassuming, quiet man, him and his brother. You could always count on him wearing the same overalls and work clothes and hat. You could count on him having lunch at 12 o'clock out of the same 1960s lunchbox that he always carried. And so we knew a little bit about him. What we didn't know is that when he passed away in 2016, he left the museum almost $5 million. So we are this quiet, unassuming man who left a legacy and an opportunity for us to move forward with some plans for future expansion. So when you come to the museum, if you've been here before, you've seen our galleries, our exhibits, this is what we want the visitors to see. This is what we hope you'll enjoy when you come to the museum. 16 heritage buildings, 5 galleries that tell the story of Simcoe County's past from the beginning of time to the present. Lots of school children. We're starting to build back out after COVID. We have about 8,000 school children annually who come for our programs and activities. This is what we maybe don't want to show you, but this is what we are going to open the closets or the back door today and show you a little bit of our current storage facilities. So the picture on the left is our Vesper shed, one of our outdoor buildings. You can see it's a very crowded storage area, not properly climate controlled. It's a beautiful big space, but we're not doing our best with proper climate control facilities here. The picture on the right as well is temporary storage. So you can see, again, crowding's an issue. Also, this is located right in our main collection storage area, which is not ideal. When a new piece of material comes in, a new artifact for the collection, it should be isolated, quarantined to make sure there's no pest control issues, any other concerns that would bring into the rest of the collection. So that's another current state right now. This is our same Vesper shed, our transportation collection. So in 2006, when our newest edition opened, we were thrilled with that new space. It was almost $10,000 or 10,000 square feet, of an additional space. But part of that meant that our transportation barn had to be closed, turned into interpretive space for our classrooms, and that left us with these pieces in storage. So they've been in storage for almost 20 years now. They come out occasionally for different exhibits, temporary exhibits, special activities. But since 2006, when the addition was brought forward, we've had a great increase in our transportation collection, including the 1911 Tud Hope that was just approved last December. So that brings us to where we are today, thanks to the Matthews donation. It's given us an opportunity to look at what we've managed to be thinking about for a number of years. So you can see here, I don't know if my pointer is going to work, but I'll give it a try here. No, I'm going to do it this way. At the top of your screen here is Highway 26, just to orient you. The front doors of the museum are right here. The parking lot is to the left. And the blue rectangle or square at the bottom and the yellow one are our proposed expansion. So we're looking at 5,000 square feet of additional exhibit space and 2,300 square feet of collection storage space with that quarantine space for incoming new exhibits or artifacts, and a mezzanine over top. So that gives us about 9,300 square feet. And just to give you an example, currently we have about 20,000 square feet in the museum. This is a view of the proposed new Matthews Innovation Gallery from the highway side. So you can see it's this section here with the sloping roof, and it gives us a really great opportunity to add some zero carbon features to this building. Solar panels on the roof, heat pumps, triple glazed windows that will all help us speak to that innovation, speak to zero carbon, be able to better educate our students and school groups that are coming, as well as our visitors, about sustainable operations and our relationship with the earth, both historically and in modern times. And it also helps us with funding opportunities. So we have been speaking with funding representatives, and they've told us that zero carbon or low carbon will give us a much better chance of federal grant funding. This is another view of the Innovation Gallery from the museum grounds side. And Moriyama and Tashima have done an exceptional job of really looking at the site holistically and seeing how an expansion would blend in with the current set of expansions that had happened from 1962 to the 1980s, and also looking at materials that embrace innovation with low carbon, also embrace the history of Simcoe County forests. So what you see here, the material on the outside is charred timber and charred wood. So again, it speaks to low carbon design. It speaks to that natural element. It celebrates Simcoe County forests. And I think it's just a beautiful blending of older and new building material. This is perhaps my favorite slide, the gallery from the west side. So from the new Simcoe Gallery, if you're familiar with the museum looking eastward, And I imagine the space and the architects have also told us the design is to create a beautiful courtyard that blends the new addition to the rest of the museum, that gives us opportunity for all sorts of activities, including revenue generating opportunities in the future for things like beer gardens, cafes, seasonal markets, so a Christmas market, a farmer's market, Savor Simcoe, high, beautiful food events again, and also a natural gathering, comfortable space for our school groups when they come to visit as well. The interior shot as well shows you the idea of the size of the height of the building, the scale, the materiality of it, gives you an idea of what sorts of artifacts we can put in this area. We have a lot of larger size equipment, so we're making sure that these pieces will be able to be put on display to speak to innovation and to speak to the development of Simcoe County. So proposed future phases, we're asking for phase 1 to be approved today, which is the Matthews Innovation Gallery, this section here. To start construction, we hope in 2024, be finished by 2026. Phase 2 and 3 come in the next 7 years. So phase 2 really deals with this center block and moving our administration space. So over the years, the administration space that we're using right now for our office space was the old archives before the archives moved to a separate building. And so we've used that space. It was collection storage after it was archive space, and now it's office space for staff. But what happens is it creates a bit of a bottleneck when visitors are traveling through, and a little bit of a disjointed experience for the visitor. So what we're looking at is moving that space, making it more compact, more efficient, so reducing hopefully our office space and creating more exhibit and design space so that more artifacts can be on display for the visitor. So that's phase 2. And then phase 3, if approved in 2030, would give a brand new visitor entrance with a switch of the Simcoe Gallery, which is our community temporary exhibit gallery, and our meeting room space. So that really opens the door up for more revenue generating opportunities, more a beautiful space in the Simcoe Gallery to be able to have meetings, weddings, receptions, all of those different beautiful events that showcase the heritage buildings in the gallery outside. So the total project cost, so again, phase 1, that's the one we're looking at today. The total cost is $13,224,000 estimated. $4 million from the Matthews Fund, of course, will go. We're optimistic that we'll get funding for a good portion of the remainder. Phase 2 and phase 3 are relatively smaller amounts over the next 7 years. And capital funding opportunities, I think it's important to just reiterate that we have spoken to the Canada Cultural Spaces Fund rep, Museum Assistance Program rep, a lot of federal contacts who are supportive and optimistic and engaging with us on a regular basis to look at all of the different opportunities for different funding that is available for museums. And then potential revenue opportunities, again, I spoke to it earlier and Alan mentioned it, but I wanted to just reiterate this picture. This is our sensory garden that was done a few years ago thanks to a bequest by Kenneth Job. It's an opportunity for us to really use that outdoor space for new and exciting ways to bring in new audiences, bring in diverse audiences, get more people knowing about the museum, but more importantly, visiting and using and accessing the museum and also learning about our history as well. So looking forward, thanks to the unassuming Charles Matthews, he gave us an opportunity to really be able to move the plans forward for something that we've been talking about and thinking about since the 1980s. That's how long the plans for that expansion have been dreamed of, I guess, for lack of a better way of saying it. Moriyama Tashima's pre-design and schematic design plans show that the museum is really in a good position to be a stronger tourism destination, bringing in those revenue generating opportunities, bringing in new and diverse audiences, and being a really well-established community institution. And then the 3 phases over the next 7 years really get us established to hit our 100th year anniversary of Simcoe County Museum and also be really well positioned for the next 100 years. Going to play you a very short video now that was done by our marketing and creative services team. Right, we'd be happy to entertain or answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from County Council? Comments? Councillor Bell.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. It might be a little bit early for this, but is there some way to honor the family member who made this bequest with the building name or something, or is this a little premature to discuss that?
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair, I don't think it's premature at all, and the plan is to call it the Matthews Innovation Gallery, so I apologize that that wasn't clear.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councillor Dolan.
Thank you. Just a couple of comments. I love the idea of the opportunities for revenue generation, but also it provides the opportunity for people to stay longer because without a place to sit and eat, you'll see families leave faster than they would if there was a place on site. Also, I can tell you from personal experience, my son was married in a museum, the Region of Waterloo Museum, now called the Ken Sealing Museum, and it was a great experience. And I know that they're booked, well many years in advance, and that's a great revenue generator as well. So yes, I think it's a good move forward. I would ask if you could elaborate a little bit on the deadlines for the applications, particularly the federal ones, which I see as being the Green Building Fund, and if you had any more information on those opportunities.
Thank you for the question. Yes, through you, Madam Chair. The Canada Cultural Spaces Fund, from what we understand, is continuous intake. So we work with the museum advisor to work through the application and put our best foot forward that way. The Green and Inclusive Community, we're waiting to see if that's been reallocated for this year. We haven't had word yet, or I haven't heard yet. But through our rep, again, we'll be working to hit all of those deadlines too, if approved.
Anyone else? Thank you very much. Sorry.
One question, if you don't
Oh,
mind.
that's fine.
Thank you, Chair. In phase 3, we look at the entrance. We're redoing the entrance, but are we locating the entrance in the same spot? Are we leaving it there? Because I'm just curious. I mean, the parking lot's in the back, and I'm not sure why we're not creating that entrance that's in the back as a main entrance for people to come to. So I'm just curious as to the thoughts on the location of the main entrance still.
Thank you. Yes, the main entrance will have to be reconfigured and probably pushed out a little bit westward to hit the parking lot a little bit more cohesively. There were lots of discussions in the pre-design about changing the group entrance and the front entrance, and it can be done, but for a significantly higher cost. So the reimagining or redesigning that front entrance as it is, but pushing it westward, possibly changing the parking lot configuration seemed, quite frankly, a lot more practical, a lot more cost effective, and just as engaging once we worked through all of those details.
Anyone else? Thank you very much. It's a wonderful project that we're all looking forward to, and I know the schools will be happy and everyone else. I need a mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Fowler, second by Councillor Measures, that item CCW 2023-121 dated June 13th, 2023, regarding the Simcoe County Museum Matthews Innovation and Transportation Gallery Expansion Project be received, and that Phase 1 of the subject project be approved and included in the 2024 budget, and that the detailed design package for Phase 1 proceed to tender in the fall of 2023 with an estimated construction start time of the spring of 2024, and that staff seek federal and provincial funding opportunities for Phase 1 of the subject property. All in favor? Carried. Thank you, Warden.
Thank you, Chair Cox. I'll now go on to Chairman Leduc for Human Services.
Thank you, Warden. So we're here at Section 6, Human Service Consent Agenda. I have 6.1, letter received from the Township of Clearview dated May 30th regarding resolution of support declaring intimate partner of violence and epidemic. And I have 6.2, CCW 23-174, ethics policy and process updates. Would anybody like anything pulled for review or discussion? All right, seeing none, so I'm looking for a mover and a seconder then. Moved by Councillor Smith, seconded by Councillor Ripma, that the following consent items, having been given due consideration, be received. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving into Section 7, we have Human Services Land Ambulance. I have 7.1 CCW 2023-175 Georgian College Collaborator Agreement. Comments or questions with this report? All right, seeing none, I move in a second, please. Moved by Councillor Fowler, seconded by Councillor Fryer, that the recommendation that item CCW 2023-175 dated June 13, 2023 regarding collaborator agreements with Georgian College be received, and the Director and Chief of Paramedic Services or Delegate and County Clerk sign collaborator agreements for the purpose of accepting project outputs from the Georgian College Artificial Intelligence Program as generally outlined in item CCW 2023-175. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. We're on to Section 8, Human Services Long-Term Care Committee of Management. We have 8.1 CCW 2023-168 Francophone Resident Research. Comments or questions on this one, if anybody would like? All right, seeing none, I'm looking for a mover and a seconder then. Moved by Councillor Corbell, seconded by Councillor Evans, that a recommendation that CCW 2023-168 dated June 13, 2023 regarding the research study, Francophone seniors in minority situations, living conditions, health status, and care experience in a minority language context be received. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Into Section 8.2, we have CCW 2023-172, University of Toronto Rational Coordination Study. Simcoe manner. Moved by, questions or concerns? Okay, moved by Councillor Miskin, seconded by Councillor McClellan. That item CCW 2023-172 dated June 13, 2023 regarding University of Toronto Rational Coordination discussion or study at Simcoe manner be received. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Human Services Emergency Management 9.1. We have CCW 2023-170 Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act annual compliance results. Questions or concerns with this report? All right, seeing none, looking for a mover and a seconder. Moved by Councillor Measure, seconded by, Councillor Van Stavern. So that item CCW 2023-170 dated June 13, 2023 regarding the legislative requirement for municipalities to achieve annual compliance and the compliance results for the County of Simcoe under Emergency Management and Civil Protection Act be received. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. We're into Section 10, Human Services, Other Matters for Consideration. We have Section 10.1, Affordable Housing Advisory Committee Report, May 30th, 2023. Questions or concerns with this report? Seeing none, moved by. I have Councillor Miskinen and Councillor Greenlaw. That recommendations contained within the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee report dated May 30th, 2023 be approved. All in favor? Carried. Thank you. I turn it back to you, Warden.
Okay, next I'll go on to Corporate Services. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, with Chair Dolan. Sorry.
Thank you, Your Worship. So we're on item 11, and that is the Corporate Services consent list, and there are two items on there, 11.1, a letter from Clearview, and 11.2 is a letter from Collingwood. Anybody have any questions, comments, or want to pull anything? Councillor Hanlon.
Yes, thank you, Chair. With respect to 11.2, I hadn't realized this was coming on the agenda so quickly. It was just at our council last week, and I've just got back from Chicago, the conference of the mayors of the Great Lakes St. Lawrence Cities Initiative. And I think I should speak to our county staff and bring forward a motion particular to this. So I'm asking if I can have this item deferred to the next meeting. I can explain what it's about. Is we do have a regular meeting of the mayors and go ahead.
Sorry, Councillor Hamlin, sorry to interrupt, but if there's a motion to defer, then we should not have any further conversation on it, and I wondered if you'd had a seconder for that motion.
I'd second that.
Councillor Measures is your seconder. So any comments or questions on the motion to defer? Item 11.2. Seeing none, all those in favor of deferring 11.2? That is carried. Thank you. I'm so sorry to interrupt. So we now have 11.1. Any questions or comments on 11.1? Seeing none, that the motion would be that I need a mover and a seconder, please. So that'd be Councillor Bell and Councillor Anderson, that the following consent item, having been given due consideration, be received. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Next, we go to item 12, and that would be temporary road closure for the Midland Terry Fox Run. Questions or comments on that item? Seeing none, mover and a seconder, please. Deputy Warden Coghlan, Councillor Gordon, that item CCW 2023-163 dated June 13th, 2023 regarding temporary road closure, County Road 25, Bomb Beach Road, be received, and that under the authority of Simcoe County Bylaw number 4952, the request to temporarily close County Road 25 from Marshall Road westerly to County Road 6 for the duration of the 2023 Midland Terry Fox Run on Sunday, September the 17th, 2023, is generally outlined within item CCW 2023-163 be approved. All those in favor? Any contrary? That's carried. Next, under item 3.1 is the hazardous waste update. Questions or comments on that item? Seeing none, a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Fowler and Councillor Snell, that the CCW 2023-082 dated June 13th, 2023 regarding the hazardous waste program update be received, and that a budget be proposed for managing household hazardous waste materials, both those designated and non-designated by Ontario Regulation 449/21, hazardous and specialist products, and that staff negotiate with producer responsibility organizations to maximize potential compensation, and that staff negotiate and finalize new agreements with the City of Barrie and the City of Orillia for continued use of their household hazardous waste depots by county residents, and that subject to successful negotiations and approval of the final agreement of the counties by the county solicitor, that the warden and the county clerk execute the necessary documents. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Item 13.2, solid waste management truck repair facility building conversion. Questions or comments on that report? Councillor Gordon.
Thanks. I just wanted to point out this is a really good use of existing space that's largely going unused right now, and repurposing, and all the justification for it's in the report, but I definitely welcome it into the North Simcoe area. It brings obviously employment, and it reduces our carbon footprint, and it offers real material savings to the county operations. So great idea looking internally for these resources.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Any other questions or comments on this item? So that'd be moved by Councillor Gordon, seconded by Councillor Laux, that item CCW 2023-124 dated June 13th, 2023 regarding vehicle repair facility building conversion and modular office lunchroom installation on the North Simcoe transfer station be received, and that the North Simcoe transfer station building be converted into a vehicle repair facility for solid waste management fleet as generally outlined in CCW 2023-145, and that subject to deliberations in the affirmative, that the funding methodology described in the financial section of CCW 2023-145 be utilized to effect the changes noted within this item. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Next is item 13.3, Food and Organic Waste Framework and Policy Statement Update. Questions or comments? Seeing none, could I ask for a mover and a seconder for the motion, please? Councillor Compton and Councillor Norris, that item CCW 2023-162 dated June 13th, 2023 regarding the Food and Organic Waste Framework and Policy Statement Update be received, and that staff report further on the implementation of a pilot program to collect organics from multi-unit residential buildings. All those in favor? That is carried. And are there any other items for consideration under corporate services? Seeing none, I'll pass it back to you, Your Worship, and I'm going to say we're setting a record for getting through anything to do with waste management in record time.
Yeah, I absolutely cannot believe that. Went through with no discussion at this point, but pretty detailed report. So I'll turn it over to Chair Cox now to finish up performance management.
Hello. Section 16, performance management. At 16.1, Sustainable Operations Program, Summer 2023 Update. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Evans, second by Councillor Locke. That item CCW 2023-148 dated June 13th, 2023 regarding Sustainable Operations Program Summer 2023 Update be received, and that the 2021 Energy Consumption and Greenhouse Gas Emissions Report, substantively in the form attached to Schedule 2 to item CCW 2023-148 be approved, and that the Energy Consumption and Greenhouse Gas Emissions Report be posted to the county's website in compliance with the Electricity Act requirements, specifically Ontario Regulation 2523. Any questions? Councillor Dolan.
Thank you. I did have one question, if I could, and that was in regards to the list of the facilities that were required to have these numbers done, and many of them were not county responsibilities. I think I saw public libraries on there and fire stations. So I just wanted, is that like the list in totality, and those responsibilities would fall to lower tier municipalities to do the sustainability programming on them?
Thank you, and through the chair, yes, the list that is on page 3 of the report comes directly from the legislation and describes the buildings that we are responsible for as municipalities at the various levels to report on. So you're correct. If you have buildings like this in your home municipality, they should be included in your report.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. Item 17.1. Audit and Finance Committee report, May 24th, 2023. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Bell, second by Councillor Anderson. Recommendation is that the recommendations contained within the Audit and Finance Committee report dated May 24th be approved. Are there any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Carried. 17.2 Bursary Committee. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor, oops, out of my head. What's his name? Okay, never mind. I need a mover and a seconder. Sorry. Moved by Warden. And seconded by Councillor Fowler, sorry, that recommendations contained within the Bursary Committee report dated May 30th, 2023 be approved. Any questions? Comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you. That happened to me earlier. I was looking, I wanted to call him Kenneth. No, it's Councillor Fowler. So with that, I'll look for a motion to adjourn that the June 13th, 2023 meeting of the Committee of the Whole be adjourned at, 10:12. Moved by Councillor Anderson, second by Councillor Greenlaw. And our next scheduled meeting will be June 27th, which is a joint Council and Committee of the Whole meeting. So we will adjourn now, and then maybe 10:30 head down for our strat in the county conference room downstairs. So we'll have a bit of a break in between. So all in favor of the adjournment? Thank you. That is carried.